Libra, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the week ahead. Keeping in mind that these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements to get all your messages. And if you're interested in a personal reading, please have a look at the description below because I am offering a promotion for the month of May. It's a good time to get a reading if you've been wanting. All right, let's get started here for Libra. What is the current energy around Libra for the week ahead? Okay, Four of Wands, Libra, this is lovely. You're crossing a finish line here. This is a moment where there's some achievement and it's going to lead to some kind of personal inner success for you. So there's an achievement that you've been working on and it feels really personal with the Four of Wands. Like it's something that you've been working on, something that you've been sort of working towards, wanting to achieve. Let's see here, and it feels like you're going to cross that finish line, but ultimately let's see if there's any obstacles here. Any obstacles for Libra? Oh, interesting. Look at that. So the Chariot, and sort of sneaky in there is the Eight of Cups as well. So the interesting thing about this is that the Chariot tells us that you are moving ahead and that you are moving towards this moment of inner success, achievement, finishing something, crossing that finish line into something new. And when we see the Eight of Cups as the obstacle with the Chariot, that tells me that your movement towards this finish line, Libra, is blocked or potentially challenged by something that you must leave behind. And so very, very interesting. We're getting really clear messages here. It feels like there's something that you're emotionally attached to that you must leave behind. You have to actually be willing to walk away from these Eight Cups, knowing that they no longer serve you, jump into your Chariot, and cross that finish line. But this is the main obstacle here, is that you have to be willing to walk away and actually get in your vehicle and move away. Now that's a metaphor. So there's no actual vehicle, but there may be. For some of you may actually have to move somewhere to cross this finish line, to make it through this moment of achievement and sort of gain this inner reward, this inner success. Something that it feels like a personal achievement, like something that you have desired to do. And it's like you're at the point now where all that remains between you and this finish line is your willingness to walk away from something that you have an attachment to that's emotional, and to be willing to walk away from it and jump in and off you go. Very interesting messages coming through for you here, very clear. So will you be willing? The bottom of the deck is the Lover's card, which is choice. Will you choose what's in your highest alignment, Libra, and move away from something that feels emotionally attached but no longer serving you? And so very interesting food for thought for you this week, Libra. Will you make that choice that's in your highest alignment or not? Or will you stay where you feel like, nothing is serving you in that moment or that space, but there is an emotional connection or attachment that may be keeping you somewhere that no longer serves you anymore. And there's this achievement tied to this, and this movement with the Chariot to move forward towards something that feels like it does serve you. Really interesting. Let's see what's on top of mind for you here, Libra. Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, all about choice. So will you make that choice? I love how Chris over on the Minnow Pond channel always says when he sees this card, is the juice worth the squeeze? And that stuck with me, and I just love it because it's such a great way of describing the energy of this card. Is it worth it? At what cost is the other way I think of it, is that, yes, you're emotionally attached to this situation that no longer serves you, but at what cost will you remain here instead of sort of moving towards something that you feel really serves you? And it feels like it's a new venture. You know, it's interesting. It's almost like you've been here working on these 5 pentacles, planting them, growing them, collecting them over and over again, and you've got these other 2 seeds in your pocket that you haven't even planted yet. So it's almost like this, when you cross that finish line in the 4 of Wands, what's awaiting you, we see in the 7 of Pentacles here, is something new, something that serves you, something that is moving you forward towards your highest good. And it's interesting, it's up to you. And we saw that Lover's card on the bottom of the deck, which sort of is a choice card that says, you know, choose what's in your alignment, choose what's in alignment with your highest good. Okay, let's see what's driving all of this. What's at the root of this? Queen of Pentacles in reverse, Capricorn energy. So what we see here is this idea of maybe feeling like there's just so much going on right now around you. With this Queen of Pentacles in reverse kind of gives us this idea that with so much going on around you that may not serve you, you're starting to feel a little bit smothered. And you may be smothering others. You know, sometimes when we see the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, it can be a signal that we're, you know, distracting ourselves with other people's stuff so that we don't have to look at our own stuff. And seeing her there in this position tells me that there could be imbalances at home and at work. And, you know, the material life is getting a little bit out of balance and out of alignment. So that might be part of what's not serving you, is that there's stuff going on that just isn't, it's just too much and it's out of balance. So you may have way too much going on right now, and you sort of need to just focus on one thing at a time so that you can actually check them off your list, instead of sort of, you know, giving 10% to everything and then not seeing anything get actually moving forward. So it's interesting because it feels like right now overextending your energy could be a way for you to actually not work on anything fully. And that is an interesting energy of sort of giving bits of your energy to things, but never really fully looking at something and crossing it off your list. And it's interesting because the other energy I feel when I see the Queen of Pentacles in reverse is that we need to become more grounded in our reality and in our situation in the present moment, and look at everything that we've got on the table and say, what's serving me and what's not serving me? Where do I need to focus, and where do I actually just need to sort of cross something off my list and say, this no longer serves me? And I say that because you've got this 8 of Cups, you've got this 7 of Pentacles. So it's about moving away from things and making choices so that you can feel that you've sort of reached this personal achievement and that you're moving forward on things. And sometimes when we have too much going on, we might even shift our focus to things that don't involve us, because we don't want to look at the things that we have on the table because it's too overwhelming. We've overextended ourselves, and so our focus becomes ungrounded and undirected. You know what I mean? It becomes scattered. Scattered focus means that nothing gets accomplished, and we just end up giving a little bit to everything, and it's like little drips here and there. Doesn't fill the bucket. And so it's almost like choose something that resonates with you and focus on it, give it your full attention and accomplish it, finish that task and see how you feel. You know, it's interesting. The bottom of the deck is the King of Wands, which is very ambitious, assertive energy that does accomplish things. So you may have to sort of look at doing one thing at a time so that you can cross it off your list. I'm almost feeling that it's like I was saying, home, work, life balance, right? And trying to find a schedule or a system that allows you to actually finish some things that have been started and abandoned, it feels like. Let's see what the past influences are here for Libra. Nine of Pentacles. So that tells me in the past you felt more like you were able to get things crossed off the list, and that there was sort of an empowerment that went along with that, and a feeling of satisfaction and accomplishment and achievement here in the past. And also this idea that the Nine of Pentacles is this rich purple card that sort of evokes the sense of richness and fulfillment and abundance and prosperity, and sort of like sometimes it even feels like high boundaries because you've accomplished so much. You're guarded a little bit about what you've surrounded yourself with. So it feels to me like in the past there was a sense of balance that came from achievement and sort of this feeling of looking around at what you've achieved and feeling really empowered that you created this. This was sort of a self-made, resilient period for yourself, Libra, and it felt very fulfilling, and a lot of dedication and hard work went into this. Let's see what's coming up in the future for you. I think now you've just taken on too much, maybe, or there's been too much left undone, and too much that maybe doesn't serve you anymore, that you need to sort of move in a different direction to focus your energy. Coming up in the future energy, what we see is the Knight of Cups with the Hangman and the Six of Swords. These two cards are in reverse. So with the Knight of Cups sitting there, that makes me feel like in the future you will be following your heart more. You will be in a place where you're actually following up on some things that you've been maybe dreaming of or fantasizing about, and wanting to do them, but not maybe feeling like you have the time or the energy to devote to something that really is meaningful for you. But it feels like in the future, nights are all about movement. So you'll be moving on these emotional desires. You'll be moving forward on them. But it's interesting because seeing the Hangman and the Six of Swords in reverse make me feel like in order to do that, in order to get moving on things, you have to be willing to see things from a different perspective, and you have to be willing to let go of some limited beliefs that made you feel a little bit defeated, or that you can't do something, or, you know, it almost feels like a wounded expression of the self has to be let go of and seen in a different way. You may have to see yourself in a different way, because it feels like in the past energy you were able to sort of achieve things and feel really empowered, but now moving into from the present, where you're being guided here to walk away from things that no longer serve you, and to sort of level up and achieve some personal outcomes here that you've been working on, but not giving enough of your energy to, maybe in order to see yourself cross that finish line. In the future, we see you sort of needing to look at things from a different perspective so that you can actually figure out where along the lines things became wounded or defeated, or feeling like it's not possible, or that you won't be able to do it. And it's interesting, as I'm talking about this future energy, I feel myself feeling a little bit itchy. And that itchiness in my hands and arms is usually a signal of anxiety, or feeling like, feeling restricted, and feeling like, you know, there's something that is bothering you. And it's like that whatever is causing that itch in you needs to be looked at from a different perspective that allows you to heal it. And so it almost feels like there's a hesitation that comes with this achievement that needs almost some attention, to be like, why do I feel like my skin is crawling? Right? Why do I feel like that? And it could be because you're in a situation that doesn't serve you, and your energy is scattered. And although you feel like you need to move away from something, look at all these cards about choices and moving away from something. Chariot, Six of Swords, Seven of Pentacles, Four of Wands, all suggest movement. And yeah, it almost feels like you have to look at the root of why there's this lack of movement and address it so that you can sort of move forward, with these things that you want to express. Let's see, how does Libra see themselves right now? Page of Cups. There's something here that you desire to see to come into your reality. And again, these pages are messengers. The knights are movement, but the pages are messengers. So there's a message within you here trying to express itself. And now I'm feeling, my right ear itchy. And that is the side of us that is more connected to making concrete decisions about things and really listening to the intuition. And so when my right ear itches, that's a suggestion that says you may already know what you need to do. You've already discovered it. You've felt it. You've received the message, but you may not be following the message. You may be ignoring the message. And you might not be listening to that message. You might be listening to these limited beliefs more than the message itself. How do other people see Libra right now? How do other people see Libra right now? 6 of Wands coming out. So the 6 of Wands in reverse, to me, is a time where we're comparing ourselves to other people. We're wanting external feedback. We're not trusting ourselves for the internal feedback. So we're looking outwardly to say, well, how do I measure up against other people doing similar things? Or how do I get received by other people? And focusing more on that than focusing on how do you feel about yourself? So this may be a time where we're looking for someone to validate us, and that may be coming across because, again, there's a wounded element here. Bottom of the deck, we see the 3 of Swords, which is a time where, we've had a difficult time letting go of something painful. And I feel like whatever this is kind of recent, because I feel like in the past you felt very empowered looking at that 9 of Pentacles, and now it's like there's been accumulation of stuff that has created this sort of feeling of not letting go of things that need to be looked at and released. And we're seeing that message come through in a number of cards. Now let's see, what are the hopes and fears around this for Libra? Okay, we're seeing the Queen of Wands, but I want to take another card with that to understand the hopes and fears. Thank you. Got 2 cards. Oh my God, they're all court cards. It's so interesting. So, the court cards, we're seeing the Divine Feminine, the Divine Masculine. We're seeing 2 Queens and a King. King of Pentacles in reverse. You got the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, and then these other 2 Queens upright. This Queen of Swords is you, Libra. The Queen of Swords is Libra energy. So your hopes and your fears seem to surround you seeking the truth about what you desire to see created, what you want to create, where you feel inspired to create, looking at the truth, seeking the truth, not accepting anything except the truth, and then feeling yourself not completely committing to the path. It seems like those are your hopes and fears, and it all has to do with, it feels like an internal quality that you're dealing with within that says, I want to do what I feel is my truth. I want to express that. I want to, move forward with confidence, and yet I find myself not completely committing to myself. And I think that's the fear, is that, well, what if I make all of these choices and changes and movement, right? And I move towards what it is that I really desire and what I feel is my truth, and then I don't end up committing to that. It's almost like you're doubting yourself. And I don't think you did in the past. And that's the interesting difference here, is that in the past we see that you really trusted yourself and you accomplished things, and every time you accomplished something it was like another sort of lift of confidence for yourself. But now it's like you don't trust yourself. It's almost like you're looking at your decisions recently and thinking, I don't think that was the right decision, or I'm doubting myself. What if I chose wrong? It's interesting. It feels like the hopes and fears reside within you about yourself, not so much about the external outcomes, but more so about how you are focused and how you are seeking and yet feeling non-committal all at the same time. So it feels like being committed to something is really the focus, being committed here and focusing on an outcome, one thing at a time, so that you can really look at things carefully and give them some attention. Seeing the 9 of Swords here on the bottom of the deck makes me feel like there's a lot of fear and anxiety right now. Like I was saying, when my skin got a little itchy and my ear was getting itchy, it feels like it's time to really trust those inner knowings that are trying to guide you towards your highest good. And I feel like what's on your conscious mind right now is indecision and hesitation due to fear and not really being certain of what's right and what's wrong, quote unquote. Let's see what the outcome here. Oh, the Lovers, it's back. Remember, we saw this at the bottom of the deck right at the start of the reading. So it feels like the outcome here is choice, that you are being guided to make a choice that's in alignment with your true, authentic self. And that you really need to have some patience for yourself when we see Temperance on the bottom of the deck. So Libra, it's very interesting, this reading. Now my left ear is itching. Gosh, there is a need for balance between the divine feminine and the divine masculine energies within you. The part of you that feels and the part of you that thinks, the part of you that wants to express itself creatively and honestly, and the part of you that has to take action towards things. It's like we need to find a balance between those two energies. I always think of the divine feminine and masculine as sort of the water and the lines. So the water would go everywhere if it could, it would just spread. And yet the lines keep the water moving in a certain direction so that it can be productive and channeled in a way that allows for growth and new discoveries, as opposed to just sort of moving all over the place without a direction. That's why we need both the masculine and the feminine energies, because one directs the other. You know what I mean? And so right now, it feels like your reading is really guiding you towards taking those feelings you have and using your intuition to guide you with those feelings towards making choices and decisions that feel like they're in alignment with you. So there may need to be some introspection to discover what does lie beneath. What are your intentions? What are your emotions guiding you towards right now? Where do you feel like you want to express yourself that you're not right now? And how do we improve the confidence by taking action and achieving success in certain areas, or just achieving completion, even like crossing something off a list and saying, okay, that's managed, what's next? And having a look at things and sort of doing things in a way that feels like you're moving forward. It's interesting. I feel like you've got a lot on your plate right now, Libra, and trying to sort of sort through it could be causing you to just not look at it at all because it's a little overwhelming. Let's see, to close this reading for Libra, what is the highest guidance here for Libra? Okay, interesting. We've got 3 cards coming out for you with soulmates on the bottom of the deck. And you see that's the Lover's card, which is about choice. But still, for some of you, I think this involves a relationship that may no longer be serving you, that is sort of creating a lot of obstacles for you right now. Seeing a new life in reverse, which tells me that there's this unexpected trajectory that you may not see that's out there. It's a possibility for you to have this new experience, this new path, but it's almost like, again, when we said in the beginning, you've got to be willing to change some things for this to happen. You have to be willing to get in your chariot and leave something behind that has an emotional attachment for you. And it almost feels like you can't worry about what people think of that. Because if you spend too much time worrying about, well, what are people going to think, then you're likely not going to get into the canoe and move away. You're likely not going to follow your heart or look at things from a different perspective or get into that chariot and move away. I think that reminding yourself that in the past you were able to achieve a lot by following your truth is a good reminder for you right now. You know, seeing exchanging gifts here is the law of cause and effect, in the sense that, and it's also sort of this idea that, you know, your new life is going to cost you your old life, that sometimes we have to give certain things up in order to achieve that new life. And that's coming through with this blessed card, which tells me that ultimately everything is going to work out, but you have to sort of be willing to make some choices and some changes here, and to sort of find a system that works for you, to look at everything you've got on the table here, one thing at a time, to see what serves you, what doesn't serve you, and sort of asking yourself, am I willing to make some big changes right now? I'm going to leave it at that for you. What a very interesting reading, Libra. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has been helpful, and I look forward to reading for you again soon, my friends. Take care. Sending you so much love.